One of the ways my mental breakdown manifested was through a lot of physical aspects in my life. This may be specific to me, or there's a chance that you'll also find this relatable for yourself or someone in your life. There's a few ways we're going to look at this, and this will be one of the more serious videos because in all honesty, I don't know how to joke about this. I'm going to talk about my living space and environments, the changes that happen to my body, what my social life and interactions look like, including any hobbies I had or lack thereof. Also, my career and my overall attitude towards life. Living space and environment. If you ever walked into my bedroom over the last 2 years, it probably looks something like this. Clothes everywhere, floor nowhere to be seen, bed covered, laptop on bed, empty food packages. It's disgusting to admit, but it happened. Right now, my room is tidy most of the time, with each and every item having a place. I actually get quite annoyed when something is out of place. I've learned that my bedroom is a direct reflection of my mental state, and also my room has an effect on my mental state. If you want to know if I'm okay, just look at the state of my room. Research from 2020 has shown a link between messy rooms and depression. Signs of depression may include a lack of motivation, leading to an unkempt space. Psychology says that messiness can indeed be a sign that a person is having trouble. Just like someone who is suffering from OCD and has to control everything, being a messy person might show that they are dealing with depression or some other mental illness. I use star signs a lot to understand myself and others. At the company I worked at, there were a lot of Virgos. They were always put together, great outfits, organized, looking good. You can tell everything has a place in their life. There were many moments where I wondered why I wasn't put together like the other Virgos who dressed well and had a place for everything. Honestly, I couldn't even muster up the energy to take care of myself and how I looked. From doing my hair, which was always in a bun, to makeup, which I never wore and still don't unless I'm going out, to simple things like not wearing earrings and wearing the same shoes every day, and honestly, just not caring about what I was wearing. At least I had clothes on and actually left the house. Yep, deep. This is why I said it's going to be a serious video. To be honest, at the time, I just thought I was lazy and that's why my room was untidy, or that I didn't actually care about how I looked. But only now, having been helped and worked on myself, I realized no, I actually like looking good and cute and putting on outfits together and doing a little bit of makeup. So when you walk past the mirror, you look at yourself and you're like, oh, okay, who's that? I like that my room is so organized and there's a space for everything. Body. Lockdown 2020 hit me hard. I had put on maybe 20 kgs, my skin was horrible because I had breakouts, my hair had thinned out, my face was discolored, and there was just an overall unhappiness. If you looked at me, you could see I was unhappy. I remember I spent about 5 months at my parents' house, but I definitely wasn't there. I wasn't present. I was angry at myself and I hated myself because I felt ugly. I wasn't helping out at home. Lots of self-hate. But I realized that through everything that I was doing to myself, not sleeping, tons of coffee, eating on a weird schedule, all my body was doing was trying to take care of me. I'd put on weight because I would spend the day not eating. So basically my body was like, okay, when are we getting our next meal? And then it started to store the food to keep me going, to make sure I had the energy. The 5 cups of coffee that I was overdosing on were starting to come out as acne, and my anxiety meant I was picking away at that and creating scars. My gray hairs and thin hair were signs that I didn't have the right nutrients in my body. I wasn't even restoring myself by sleeping. I hated myself, and it showed. That's why self-care is important, ladies and gentlemen. Here are some facts. Stress affects the normal function of your digestive system, which ultimately results in the appearance of inflammatory diseases. Ever noticed the link between irritable bowel syndrome or stomach ulcers or weight gain and stress? Yep. The effects of stress is thought to aggravate and if not cause some cases of acne, eczema or psoriasis. Stress hormones upset the hormone imbalance in your body, affecting many organs, including the skin. Some studies have shown that stress has many effects on the human nervous system and can cause structural changes in different parts of the brain. The adrenaline hormone is responsible for the following physical symptoms under stress: shallow breathing, heart pounding, profuse sweating, intestines shut down, tense apprehensive jitters. And this is great if you're in physical danger, like being chased by a lion. But if you are producing this adrenaline and all you're doing is sitting in front of a laptop, what happens to that? Where does it go? When your intestines are shutting down, what is it for? Without the option of running away or working off the adrenaline that you've produced, it stagnates in your body. When you aren't able to let go, relax, and unwind, the effects of stress can be harmful. Ironically enough, one of the consequences of stress is persistent loss of a good night's sleep. And in turn, insomnia can cause even more harm to your body and your mind. Hobbies. I had none. I didn't know what I liked outside of work. I didn't know what else I enjoyed besides strategizing and planning and reporting. A friend actually said to me one day at lunch, "Do you think you work all the time because you don't know who you are outside of working hours? And if you had to stop working at 5 p.m., you would actually have to spend time with yourself, and do you know what that means?" Guys, like I said, I have people in my life that will hold me accountable to taking care of myself. Now, I do everything. I wake up and I wonder, what's the new thing I'm going to explore today? What mistake am I going to make? And I ask myself these questions with a lot of excitement. Socially, I thought I was an introvert. Actually, I did a Myers-Briggs test for work in 2019, and the results were INTJ. Basically, the Myers-Briggs test sorts people into one of the 16 four-letter personality types. So, like INTJ, ENFP, you've seen those things. It's basically based on your preference for sensing or intuition, extroversion or introversion, thinking or feeling, and judging or perceiving. That's how the letters, get put together. So it turns out I wasn't actually an introvert. I was just depressed. It's funny because I remember having a conversation with my colleague. Notice how many times I quote what people have said to me, and I still remember it a few years later. I think words of affirmation is definitely a love language of mine. And I also know I use external validation a lot. Anyway, in this conversation, we were talking about introversion or extroversion. And when I said I was introverted, she said, I know you think you're introverted, but I don't think you are. I argued with her, and I also actually didn't listen to her at the time because I thought she was completely wrong. Turns out she wasn't. Career. I believe that I was not performing. I had zero confidence in myself and my abilities. I couldn't explain ideas in an articulate manner. I didn't even believe my ideas were good. I remember being in a meeting with my manager. I had put this project proposal together and developed an insight which she questioned. I almost caved when she questioned my insight, but there was someone in the meeting that had experience in the field, and they basically agreed with me. The significance of this is that I had a good idea. It was good whether someone else said it or not, but I didn't believe in myself. All of the above made it harder for other people around me to work with me. Well, at least that's what I thought. It was just a constant feeling of inadequacy, like I wasn't enough. People who struggle with generalized anxiety disorder often find themselves struggling with low self-esteem. They may have poor confidence in themselves or think they are worthless. And this can be a harmful symptom with long-lasting implications. Attitude. I was constantly stressed. Because of how I started to see myself, I didn't give myself a break. I believed I needed to work harder so that I could do everything in my physical capacity to improve my work. It was like I was punishing myself when I should have been actually taking more care. I was not listening to anything physical. I hope this kind of gives you an idea of how you could actually identify this in yourself or maybe others. There are telltale signs. It's good to be aware of them and pay attention, and all is not lost. There are ways to get help. From my personal experience, I can tell you that you are not broken. You just need to allow yourself to be helped. Today I made a mistake. I didn't love myself, I didn't help myself, and I didn't take care of my body.